Emotional quotient. Let's look at emotional intelligence, commonly referred to as emotional quotient, and what's its importance. In the business world, it is said IQ gets you hired, but it's your EQ that gets you promoted. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways to communicate, overcome difficult situations, diffuse conflict, and relieve stress. High level of EQ is imperative for salespeople because, as sales guys, we have to constantly interact with others both within and outside the organization. How would you do it? For this, we have to deeply understand our own emotions and must have the ability to understand the emotions of others we deal with, and then use this information to guide our thinking processes and actions. In our current education system, to score high marks, one needs a high level of IQ. There are no two opinions about this. So, a lot of time, effort, and money is spent in educating students to score high marks in academics. But next to nothing is spent in developing the student's emotional quotient. There are live cases where the candidate had a high level of IQ and came through the selection process with flying colors, but once onto the job, the person was found wanting. Talking about intelligent quotient, I am reminded of my high school classmate named Partho. Partho was my neighbor and a good friend. He taught me maths, for which I'll ever remain grateful. He was an extraordinarily brilliant student, but a bit reserved. We were in awe of him. He was tops in everything academic. You name it, and he was there right at the top. A new English teacher joined school. Each time the teacher came across a new word, he'd ask if anyone knew the meaning. If nobody else answered, Partho's hand would go up. The teacher was so amazed, he once asked Partho if he carried a dictionary with him. Partho was a state topper when he left school. He joined IIT Mumbai, doing his graduation in chemical engineering, topping not just chemical engineering but scoring the highest among all streams. Initially, he didn't seem interested in management studies, but with most of his classmates writing CAT, the common admission test, he too decided to throw in his hat. He had heard CAT was among one of the toughest entrance exams in the world. When the results were announced, somebody else aced him for the first time. Partho felt beaten. It was a big shock for Partho, and he didn't know how to handle failure. While all of us were amazed with his percentile of 99.99 and congratulated him, he didn't seem happy. He was depressed for a few days and needed psychiatric treatment. The doctor who treated him realized the problem. From his source, he learned that the student who had aced CAT, Anish, had scored lower than Partho in IIT. He consoled Partho and told him that Anish was just lucky on the day of the exam. Partho then had a change of heart and joined IMA. Don't know if Partho's change of heart had anything to do with wanting to ace Anish. Anyway, after joining business school, for the first time in his life, he was up against real competition. There were students with industry experience, and management studies was a different ballgame. He was realizing that high intelligence alone would not suffice. There was the application part. It was not about how much intelligence you have, but how much impact you make. But with his brilliant mind, he managed to pull through. He was fortunate that his father had managed a transfer to Ahmedabad, and there was he to support him. Partho majored in operations and finance and got placed in the hydrocarbon industry at a fabulous package. British Petroleum to be specific. Something that dreams are made of. Although I was nowhere near his league, out of mere fascination, I was following Partho's career. Little over a year later, Partho shifted to Walmart. Nothing surprising, after all, as Walmart was then number one on the Forbes list. Walmart was not to his liking, and he hopped on to Carrefour, the French retail giant. He didn't stay there long too. He decided consulting was his calling and managed to join Capgemini. I lost track of him after that. Many years later, sitting in a Pondicherry hotel located near the beach, I saw a disheveled looking French female walking in with an equally ruffled looking man. The guy had a crooked nose. I nearly lost interest, but the nose looked familiar. Where had I seen this nose before? I couldn't place it and I forgot about it. The next day, I saw the couple again at the beach, again with the same untidy look. Then it suddenly hit me. This was Partho. My God, what was he doing here in such unruly shape? Not the Partho I had known. I had a closer look and wanting to be sure, called out his name. He turned, looking rather disinterested. I said, Partho, I'm Abbas. He recognized me, but it wasn't the look of a long lost friend. I didn't lose heart. I told him what I was doing. Pursuing further, I asked him, what was he doing in Pondicherry? He said, I'm at the ashram, Aurobindo ashram. How long since? I asked. I can't remember, he said, and without waiting, he said he had to leave. Not even a handshake. I was zapped. Lecturing students and industry professionals long enough, I realized Partho's was a case of high intelligence quotient but poor emotional intelligence, or what you call emotional quotient. But then, don't be disheartened by the story, as the good news is that EQ can be developed with good mentoring and training. And a decent and dependable location would be salesstartup.in.
To improve your sales.
Subscribe our YouTube channel R4 Consulting, your consulting partner. Visit our website www.r4consultingindia.com.